Who am I? Who are my parents? Where was I born? When was I born? What was my name when I was born? What is my family's health history? Every human being has the right to know who they are and where they come from. All people born in California can access this information by obtaining a copy of their birth certificate. All people except adoptees. Since 1935, California adoptees have been denied access to their original birth certificates. When they are adopted, their original birth certificate is sealed into secrecy by the state. They are issued an amended birth certificate. The amended birth certificate makes it look like their adopted parents were present at their birth. There is no mention of the name they were given at birth or who their biological parents were. Adoptees can't access their original birth certificate without permission from a judge. Most are denied. There is a solution to this. In 2023/2024, SB 1274, introduced by Senator Susan Eggman, was a bill that would allow California adult adoptees and their direct descendants unrestricted access to their original birth certificates. What about the birth mothers? Most birth mothers want to find out what happened to their babies. Many were shamed into relinquishing their child. Concerned United Birth Parents, CUB, is a national support group of women who relinquished their babies. They strongly support access to original birth certificates to adult adoptees. Included in the bill is a contact preference form for birth mothers made available to the public. They can check one of three options. Yes, I would like to be contacted. Yes, but only through an intermediary. No, I would not like to be contacted. In other states that already have contact preference forms, only 1 in 2,000 checked no. Birth mothers were never promised anonymity from the children they relinquished.
My most recent research, which I will mention in a moment, involves a study of a collection of surrender documents that were signed by birth mothers in 26 different states during the years from the late 1930s to 1990. And I think they are extremely helpful in understanding what the analysis of these documents, what they have to say, I think is extremely helpful. The law has never guaranteed lifelong anonymity for birth parents. And when two of the states that have restored access that was formerly denied to adult adoptees, Tennessee and Oregon, the laws were challenged, restoring access in state and federal courts. And the courts held that the laws did not violate federal or state constitutional law. They did not violate state statutory law, which is very similar to New York law, and they didn't violate any precepts of contract law. And in all the other states that have restored access, there have not been legal challenges. In these documents, the birth mother, and she signs them to surrender, as was mentioned, the child, the rights to the child, before there's any adoption proceeding. And she does not retain or gain any rights of any kind in these documents. She's never promised any, even confidentiality. In fact, she's not promised that the child will be successfully placed for adoption. As you've heard, and I will add in my own research into the history, the evidence is that birth mothers who sought confidentiality sought it from either their own families or from members of their community. Not that they were looking for being forever unknown from the child that they bore and forever unable to know if that child has lived or died and how that child has fared in life.
Without citing inflammatory examples, this wouldn't be the first time in legal and social history that something that was being done to a group of people was characterized as being done for them.
Well, that, of course, that was really the theme of my article.
Yeah.
That here it is, more than 95% of birth mothers are open to and supportive, and yet the opposition, when they come to testify, the opposition is they're trying to be protected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other states, red and blue, have already passed similar bills. Steve Inskeep is an adoptee and adoptive parent born in 1968, the peak year for adoptions in America during the baby scoop era. He is a host of NPR's Morning Edition as well as NPR's morning news podcast, Up First.
I know state to state. I live in California. I'm not a California adoptee, but they don't have their birth records open.
It does seem to me that the idea of confidentiality that then became secrecy, like the adoptees being denied the records, the parents being denied the records, that evolution, it took a few decades to develop, but once it got going, it was state after state after state kind of copying each other. And there has not quite been so much momentum quite so quick the other way. And now for like 20 some years, a quarter century, states have been going back the other way, and a good number of states, including some big ones like California and Texas, have not made a change.
I mean, California.
Which is that it's my business, it's my right, it's my information. Maybe I need it, maybe I don't need it. Not yours to decide, and even if I don't need it, I have a right to it.
The Girls Who Went Away. And you know that book, and I don't know if you've read it, but I think it's a powerful, it's a book about the mothers in the baby scoop era who've given up their babies. And I think it's important for people to see what that's another marginalized group of people who are treated very badly. So it's just
well, that circumstance, it's
the shame thing.
It would be like okay, they went voluntarily to give up their children in the sense that probably no one was like holding a gun to their head, but society
it's a social gun.
Yes, that's exactly right. Like okay, so they freely chose the only choice they were given. I'm not angry at my birth parents about anything. Not angry at my adoptive parents about anything. This just was information that belonged to me. This was something to know. I can't even, it's like you learned that your house had no foundation, or so, like just something like just something was not disclosed to you that was really important that they ought to told you. And that was the thing that got me. I was angry at my state, which I love, doing that to me, and they didn't check first, obviously. And I'm sure whoever passed that law in 1941 thought they were doing the right thing at the time, but it was the wrong thing in my opinion.
The healing an adoptee feels when they unlock the secret of the first chapter of their life is immeasurable.
What one piece of paper can do.
So what do you think about the opportunity now that Illinoisans all have to get their birth certificates? How important is it?
I think it's really important to be able to say, yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it.
When I was able, finally, to get a copy of my original birth certificate, It was as though I stepped over a magic line and suddenly I was equal to everybody else in that room. And I am often tempted to go up there and fill out another form and pay another $12 and get it again just because I can.
I feel so much lighter. The whole weight was lifted off my shoulders once I got this birth certificate.
Mother's name. Mother's name.
Wow. 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 Give a name.
Bonnie Lynn Upshaw.
Wow.
This is extraordinary, and I thank you for sharing this experience with me.
This is my original birth certificate.
I don't even know the words to describe. To be looking at my mother and father on paper and knowing what their names are. It's just, it's just so amazing.
And you have siblings.
There is a national trend of truth and transparency over shame and secrecy. As a legislator, this may be one of the most joyous laws you pass. Senator Eggman has paved the path with language. There was no formal opposition to the bill. The law will earn revenue for the state because of so many people paying the fee for their certificates. California needs to join other states and allow adult adoptees unrestricted access to their original birth certificates. You can make this happen.